All right, in this video, I have a new pair of sneakers from Brooks, compliments of Hibbett City Gear, and this is the Ghost Max. This is actually a pair that you guys wanted to see on the channel, so big shout out to you guys that recommended me checking these out. But this is the pair, and I gotta tell you guys, I'm actually really impressed with what Brooks created with this model. Now, I've also tried the Adrenaline GTS, the Aurora BL, the Glycerin 1820s, as well as the Hyperion Tempos and the Elites. And out of trying all of those other options, I would say that this probably is the best option for my feet. Like overall, just for what I'm looking for comfort wise, I feel like this one really just nails all of the different things that I'm looking for. And some of them are actually really good, but some of them are not really perfect for like the casual all around sort of wear. And I feel like this is one of the ones that is definitely in the category for max cushion that should be considered if you're looking for something that's nice and soft and comfortable for your feet. So this is going to be a quick review on these. Big shout out again to Hibbett City Gear for sending these over. If you guys didn't know, they're a long-term sponsor on this channel. It's been a great relationship we've had through the years. And if you haven't checked out their website yet, Hibbett City Gear, link in the description. You could also download their app. They have a great release calendar as well as a sales section. You can use their site though and sort by size and color and everything else in between. So definitely worth checking it out if you guys would like to do that. Again, link in the description. This is one of the shoes that I saw on their website and I specifically requested them. But this one definitely looked interesting because it has a max stack of cushion, and this does feature the DNA Loft V2 midsole on it. So I knew it was going to be pretty good. DNA Loft V2 is actually pretty nice on feet. It's pretty soft. Kind of reminds me of like the New Balance Fresh Foam sort of stuff. I feel like this is a little bit denser than the Fresh Foam is, at least especially in like the newer models like the Vongos and probably the 13s as well. But the cushioning is really quite nice in here, as well as the fact that they are also doing a lot of cushioning in the forefoot of the shoe. So that's something that we've seen kind of a change up in the last handful of years. There's been a lot of like max cushion in the heel, but then you don't really feel a ton of like cushion in the forefoot of the shoes. And nowadays it feels like a lot of companies are bringing more cushioning in the forefoot as well as the heel of the sneakers, just to give it that much more of a like pretty responsive like cushioned ride. So I really like what they ended up developing there. I think that overall looks of the shoe, because of how bulky and weird the midsole is, it's okay. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It's not my favorite looking pair of sneakers, but on feet, the cushioning and stuff is definitely pretty exceptional. Probably like a 9 out of 10 rating on it. It's soft, it's squishy. You could feel it in the forefoot, you could feel it in the heel. It's a nice, well cushioned ride. As for the upper, it looks like there's some engineered mesh up here, nothing too crazy. You do have some reinforcements around the lace holes, which is always a plus, and then some fused materials for the Brooks logo on the side. It probably would have been nice to have some reinforcement of some fused material on the toe box of the shoe to protect it a little bit. You do have some reinforcement underneath, but it might be nice to have some extra added protection over top of the shoe. You do have some extra reinforcement on the heel counter of the shoe. It does add a little bit of stability there, and I actually think the width of the shoe is really nice as well. Because of how wide of a base you are on when you're walking around with these, I don't feel unstable, which is a nice plus. Sometimes you get really high stacks of foam and then it's too narrow. Like Nike has a lot of that problem with a lot of their elite running sneakers and stuff, which obviously they're made to go forward. So it's a problem not necessarily for people running, but if you're trying to wear them a little bit more casually. This is something where it's a wider base. So it'll probably be fine for running, but definitely something that I enjoy casually as well walking around. I wore these in the last handful of days just to give them a go and see how they are. I will be comparing these to other products from other offerings as well, like some New Balance and some Asics and so on, because I feel like this is in that max cushion category for sneakers, and there's a lot of them out now and some more that are going to be coming out through the end of the year. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, and I'll be covering a lot of those and comparing some of the products. I'd say the liner is actually pretty decent as well. You do have some nice soft material here and some extra padding around the tongue, which is a nice plus as well. You do also have some pretty decent traction on the bottom of the shoe. Has a nice little grip here, so I like the fact that they have the little traction pods all over the place. And then you do have some exposed foam down here as well, but really the rails in the back here add the traction where you need it in the heel strike, and then obviously lots of traction in the forefoot. It's a bigger shoe, but that doesn't mean it's going to be heavy. The weight is 10.3 ounces for a men's 9.5. 10.3 ounces is pretty good. That's like an ideal, like all-around pair of sneakers weight, especially for something with a max cushion on it. I feel like that's not so bad. Foam density seems to be around like a 28 to 31. It's pretty nice on feet. If I had to compare it to anything, I'd say in hand squish, it feels a little bit softer even than these guys right here. These are the Gel Nimbus 25s. These are beasts as well. But all in all, like the squishy feel in hand is pretty nice. I think the Nimbus 25s though do feel a little bit softer overall on feet in the forefoot and heel and everything else, because it is a little bit more of a max cushion, but this thing is pretty incredible still. The one problem though that I wanted to mention about the shoe that I wasn't a super huge fan of is it's not gusseted or semi-gusseted here for the tongue. So the tongue had a little bit of slip left and right and stuff. Obviously, when you lace your shoes up, it's not going to slip too far. And if you're going to run in the shoes, of course, you're going to snug them up. But I like to wear my shoes casually, and it's something that I found the tongue slipping left and right. It was definitely displaced when I'm walking around in the shoes because, again, the laces are extremely loose. I know that I'm not the intended audience for it, but I'm not the only one that's going to feel like there's a little bit of tongue slippage here. And so having a half gusseted shoe, which means it's attached basically this point down, it's something that could benefit this shoe, as well as if the tongue materials was a little bit more stretchier than the rest of the stuff. But that's kind of a nitpick, but all in all, it's a really nice, comfortable pair. Now the Glycerin 20 Stealth Fit, I cannot find my pair to try them on side by side, but that shoe was actually really good as well. I do feel like this one is softer and more comfortable on feet from what I remember on the Stealth Fits. They had a couple different versions of the Glycerin 20s. Again, I had the Stealth Fit GTS version, so it had a little bit more stability, and then it was kind of more of a knit for the tongue section. Overall, I prefer this one over top of the others. The best looking one, though, in my opinion, is the Aurora BL. However, the tongue on that one was very snug, so it's kind of ironic. This one is a little bit too loosey-goosey. The Aurora BL was a little bit too snug. But for what this Ghost Max offers, it's really a nice option for your feet. And you can buy it from Hibbett if you guys want. I'll link it in the description. Much appreciated again for Hibbett for sending these over. It's definitely something I'm going to be wearing and trying out quite a bit and comparing to some of the other Max Cushion sneakers that I have. You guys can see I have quite a few of them here that I really enjoy. So it's really in line with a lot of these ones here. Some of these ones I like a little bit better, but there's some things about this one that makes this a pretty exceptional pair as well. So, but if you guys actually have a pair of these, leave a comment in the comment section. Let other people know your pros and cons about the model, what you like or what you dislike. I think that there is a lot to like. The width of the shoe, the overall construction, and everything else is super comfortable. I don't think that the aesthetics of the shoe is my favorite, and then the tongue not being gusseted at all is kind of a downside. But other than that, I mean, these things are really, really good. But hopefully you guys found this video somewhat helpful. I have some follow-ups on these that I'll be posting, but I appreciate Hibbett City Gear again for sending these over. Much appreciated. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of the day, and hopefully we'll see you back on the channel for some more content. All right, peace, guys.